Alright, so we're back in the world of Diablo 4, and today guys, I want to take the time out today to show you my leveling build for Warlock. I was able to reach level 70 as well as push towards Torment 2, and before I head to bed, I want to take the time to just show you the build that I'm currently using because I feel like it could help some players out. It is a very Hellfire focused build, and eventually this build will transition into a Terra Swarm Searing Infestation build, which is kind of similar to Righteous Fire if you ever played Path of Exile. So this is kind of the build I'm going with, but I'm going to show you the leveling version of this just so you guys can have a better idea of how to play it. I don't want to waste any more time. Let's dive right on into it. Alright, first I'm just going to show you how to put it together, and then I'm going to show you how the build works. So first things first, you're going to be taking advantage of Apocalypse. I know we're starting with the capstone skill first, but this is important. When we use Apocalypse, we're going to be allocating Annihilation, and what this does is it makes it so that Apocalypse does not have a cooldown but has a charge requirement. You're going to need to do about 20 stacks before you can actively use the skill, and this can stack up to 100 times. How you get this stack is by dealing any form of Hellfire skill, which we're going to be doing a lot of Hellfire skills, so just keep that in mind. What the skill basically does is it will put a massive sigil down on the battlefield that will do a ton of AoE damage, and when we allocate things like shared damage, this is going to do more damage to enemies after the initial explosion, and then epicenter damage based on when you shoot it, like ideally in the center of the person you want to deal the most damage to, they'll take 25% more damage. So that's pretty much how this skill works. Every instance of damage is going to charge it up, so you want to try to get 100 if possible, but most things probably won't take 100 to kill, if I'm being honest. Now coming up to the top, we're going to be using Molten Bomb, and what Molten Bomb does is it throws down a bomb. It's pretty self-explanatory. But we're going to be supporting this with Demon Turret, and what this does is whenever you do use Molten Bomb, this is going to throw down a turret, and you can throw up to 6 of them that will shoot out like projectiles at other enemies. And keep in mind that this skill, every single instance of damage from those like turrets will actually proc towards your Annihilation. That's kind of why we're using this for the Annihilation proc. You're going to support this with area bonus as well as wrath, because this is going to give you additional wrath on each impact, which is super nice for sustain because you're going to be using some pretty wrath heavy skills. For your next skill, you're going to be using Blazing Scream, and Blazing Scream will shoot out this demon that travels forth and deal damage that will bounce off walls. Now we're going to support this with Orbital Scream because what this does is it's going to make it so that more little projectiles come out that will home on to enemies. And if you do use Demon Form, this will extend it, but that's not really important. What's important is you're going to just get more procs, and it's just going to do more extra damage, which helps with your Annihilation build-up. You're going to support this with Cost Reduction because we're going to be casting a lot of these, and Impact Velocity for more movement. Based on your movement, you're going to get more damage, which you're going to generally try to get as much movement as possible. Plus we have some movement skills that kind of help us. Moving over down to this area, this is the defense area, you're going to be picking up Nether Step. Nether Step is just going to make you like dash forward. What we're going to support this with is Gloomwalker. This is going to make you immune for 3 seconds, which is super good for defense. You can cast it again to leave it, and then we're going to basically be underground, which is super nice. You're going to put extra charge for an extra charge, which is self-explanatory. You're going to put movement speed on this. Another step, movement speed is going to have a bonus that lasts after the like actual cast. So when you use your Nether Step and you start using your other skill, the Blazing Scream, you're going to get extra bonus damage from it because you have that impact velocity on it. Now afterwards, you're going to be picking up Infernal Breath. Now Infernal Breath is going to put down a turret that do AoE damage, but it's very stationary, and this will do a lot of damage initially, but you're going to want to support this with expensive damage. It's going to increase the dominance cost, but because we're going to be supporting this with Abyssal Turret, eventually this is like level 36, so this is going to get actually a little bit closer to the end of the campaign. This is not going to be that important for expensive damage, as you can only use one cast with it. Now this will not be a Hellfire skill, unfortunately, when you allocate this, but up until then, everything else is going to make it a Hellfire skill, which will once again kind of help towards the proccing of Annihilation once again. So it's super important to keep that in mind. So it's really important to keep in mind whenever you do go to Abyssal Turret, you will be losing that uptime on on the Annihilation, and that's where I would highly recommend probably swapping to Terra Swarm around the end of the campaign. If you want to, if it's not a big deal to you, whatever, but that's what I would do. How we're going to support this is with expensive damage. We talked about that, but you're going to use ramping damage. The longer the turret goes, this is just going to do more and more damage. So initially it's going to be a little hard to aim, But once you get this one unlocked, this one will make it so you can swap the location. Like it'll aim it basically, and it'll shoot like 3 extra blasts of damage. It's super nice, and this will make it so that your turret has a permanent uptime. So it's really, really nice. I think it's a really great skill. Coming over to the Sigil skill area, you're going to be picking up Sigil of Chaos. Now, Sigil of Chaos is a really nice skill. It's going to give you volatility if you're standing within it. And if you kill enemies within your Sigil, it's going to do explosive damage. Now, keep in mind that this skill has the ability to get volatility duration, which is going to extend the duration after you leave. And we're going to be using Hellfire Aura, which is going to put it around you. So basically what this node does, the volatility duration does, is the moment it expires, because it's going to be around you, you still have a 10-second duration of volatility. Volatility just gives you a chance to do extra damage on your Hellfire skills. If you're wondering, that's what volatility is for. This is going to be super good once you do make that transition to a Terra Swarm, which is going to be probably a little bit later after you swap this to Abyssal Turret. But yeah, this is going to be super nice because you're going to activate that, and then you're going to be using Syrian Infestation later on. That's going to basically do Hellfire within the AoE, and you're going to do a lot of explosive damage. It's really nice. Now, I do want to give you guys a few aspect recommendations. You may not be able to get them, but if you do find them, these can help. Insidious aspect is going to be great. Your abyssal skills deal increased damage if you haven't been hit by an enemy in the last 2 seconds, which isn't that hard. This will amplify your infernal breath quite a bit, so just keep that in mind. This could be a great option. Another one is aspect of scorching heat. Your Hellfire skills will deal damage equal to the reduction of your fire resistance. Fire resistance isn't that hard to get, so this could give you a lot of extra damage on all your Hellfire skills. Another great one is reanimation. While your summons are active, you're going to do more damage up to like 10 seconds. And keep in mind, Blazing Scream is a summon skill. The Infernal Breath is a summon skill. And Molten Bomb also is a summon skill. So this is going to be a great option. For your Soul Shard, you're going to be getting the Legion Shard. Whenever you cast a Greater Demon skill, this is going to make it so that the cast speed of your lesser Greater Demon skills or your lesser Demon skills are faster. And also the cooldown is going to be lower. But also after you use about 200 of them, where they're like they die because they die really quickly, your next Greater Demon skill will cause no dominance, which is super good for the turret because the turret can be kind of expensive. So just keep that in mind. You're going to select Sacrificial Fragment for this. So this is just going to give you extra damage on your Demonology skills, which is super nice. Besides that, I'm just going to briefly break down how to play the build so you know how to do it. You're just going to essentially go into any room for the most part and use Blazing Scream. This will deal with most trash mobs because it just does a lot of AoE damage, and you know, just kill most things. The moment you get to a point where you fight something strong, you're going to drop down your Sigil of Chaos. You're going to use your turret and set it up, and then you're just going to build up stacks as you throw down your Molten Bomb. Once you get anywhere near 100 on your Apocalypse, depending on how strong the enemy is, just shoot it at them, and most things in the room just instantly explode and blow up. That's pretty much how to play the build. Is pretty straightforward. Probably something most of you probably figured out. With that, that's going to be pretty much it for this video. If you guys once again have any comments on the video, let me know and I'll try to answer them. The Mobalytics will be down in the description. I will be upgrading this to a Righteous Fire or the AoE Aura Fire skill in the next coming days, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on that video. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm having a great time with it already. Thank you all for being here, and yeah, my name's Trevor. Thank you all, and I'll see you in the next one very soon.